So hello everyone, learning Python programming part 10. Today we discuss about the exceptional handling in Python. In the previous part 9 we have seen about the uh, directories in Python and file handling in the Python. So exception handling in the Python, they have inbuilt property try an exception and unexpected errors to handle the exceptions. And we see that what is the exception. So exception in the Python arises when there is an error in the program, such as divide by 0. So if you write a one program that a divide by b, if b equals to 0, and it shows some error. So Python is the property they consider as a exception. And what is the advantage of this thing? So say for example, if you have one main Python file and other one is the module. So main Python file they call some function, and in that function you pass some values. Now if your value a comma b and b equals to 0, if you pass the 0, then another module, if they use the a by b equals to 0, they have some error. So there are two ways: either program simply say that error is there, or other way is that they show some errors, that what type of the error is there. So it is known as the exception. So they also mention that okay, what exception is there. So some inbuilt exception is already there in the Python. So how we can use? We have the try and exception block is there. So here exception, you can write whatever the exception is there in that case. And numbers of inbuilt exceptions are there. We will see one by one. So let first we try to understand this program. And so we copy this program and paste it on Google Colab here and check that what it will print. So cannot divide by 0. So print if it is possible 1 by 0. No, it is not possible. Then definitely they need to print the exception, and exception 0 divides error. So cannot divide by 0. Now anyone can understand, okay, this is the exception sort of things, and they can handle the exception. These are the example of exception in the Python programming. So that is the name error. So if you want to print some variable or some sort of thing, but you have not given their value, so how they can print the value of the a? So because we have not assigned any value in that, so they have some name error, name convention error is there. You are in a variable a is not defined in that case. Another is the type error. That means there are two different types. One is the list, other one is the tuples. How you can sum the list with or concatenate list with the tuples? So it is not possible. So then they gave some type error sort of things. And other is the value error. So say for example, if you write the int and braces, then definitely they have some value error. What is the value of this int? They are not able to convert like this one. They also have the index error. So here your list 1 has only 3 items, that means index number 0, index number 2 and the index number 3. But you want to print the index number 10 in that list. So definitely there is no index element at that position. So they show some index error. So these are the inbuilt exception. Already exceptions are inbuilt exception in the Python language. These are the other exceptions. So first we try to run and see that what output is there and how it's work. So we copy here and we print it. So the first is that a is not variable is not defined. So that is also the exception. They say that okay, variable a is not defined. Assume that if someone says do a equals to 10 here, then we can check what's happened. So they print the value and there is no exception at this case. Why? Because you already defined the value of a. Now here you can see that the concatenator of the list and the tuples is not possible. You are not able to do any operation with the tuples with the linked list. So they go in that case. So they show some error like this one. And if someone do like this, list and the list, and try to run it, then we can say there is no exception, nothing is the problem. There is no problem at this position. It's working perfectly, running perfectly. Now we can see that integer a and you write the string sort of thing. So definitely invalid value of that one integer in that case. So if you write the int 5, then that is not a problem. Why? Because 5 is an integer. So there is no error at this position. Similar as the list one, they have the three items, that means index 0, 1, 2, you want to print the item number index 10 item. So index 10 item is not there, how they can print? So definitely they go in this error and show the exception and error message. So but if someone says that the item number to index position 2, so index position 0, 1 and 2, index position 2, item 3, so they show some element. So in that case there is no exception. So this is the way that the Python, they automatically understand what is the error and they show some exception. In that case you only need to define the exception this type. Now we can go some more exceptions that is given in the Python. So say for example you use the dictionary dataset sort of things, where the that means the item I and value 2, item j value 4, and someone want to print the k is not an item in this case, I and j is only there, so definitely key not defined, because there is no key at the k. Here I and j, only two keys are there. Similarly here that if you want to open a file and want to read first line of the file, but file is itself is not available, then definitely they say error, the file not found. In that case, if the file is there, then that is not a problem. Similar is if you want to open a file, you want to read a file, and there is no file, error is there, or file reading is not possible, then they show some error that file input output filing or file occurrence is the problem in that case. And if you call some modules means there's some Python that we already seen in the earlier in part 8, that how we can create the model. If model is not there, then definitely they show some error that model not exist. So import error, that means model is not successfully import, you are not able to import the model successfully. So these are some already that means pre-built exceptions in the Python that you can handle it and you can play these exceptions. These are some more example that how we can use the exception with else case and other things. So this is a very simple, the direct, you can try and exception. So if the try do this thing, if this is successfully, then that is not a problem. If they are not working perfectly, then it shows some error at this position. Similar is you can write that try this. If there is an error, you can show like this one. If there is no error, then they print the value of this one. This is very interesting. We can see that how try with else work, exception with the else value. So you can see that I equals to integer 2.3, they convert the value of 2.3, there is no error, so they directly go and print these values. And but if someone write like this one, so in that case I is not an string, that is the integer, and you want to print that one, then definitely exception can easily handle these things. See, that is the value exception, you are not passing the value perfectly. So in that case, yes, we are in safer side. Now we can see that where we need this type of exception. So assume that if I try to save this program, whatever the program is there, and download as a untitled 13.python file. So here the file is there. We can upload this file in a temporary space. This one Google Drive. Okay. So they say that okay, once you refresh, that is automatically goes down. So now this file is already there. So this is the Python file that is available here. Now suppose one main Python file is also there. So if you remember that in last that we have seen that how we can make a file, how we can import the file, and how we can do the file handling and all other things. Before that we call as the models, that how we can call the modules, how we can work on the models, and all other things are there. So let we assume that we call one new program here like this one, and here since we are on the same directory, so we can copy the path here. We are not required to write the path because it is on the same position, but as a regular practice we write the path here. The file name is rename, we can write in a simple name, new one, so that we can write here new one, import the module new one, and whatever the import model new one, and the new one we can call as a fun, define new function, we define a new function fun here, fun, and in that fun we can write try exception. If the exception is there, you can print this one. If there is no exception, then print the value of the I, whatever the value of I, and in that fun we can call the value a variable a, and here we try to print the variable a, and if I, yeah, I equals to this one, if value a is integer, then that is not a problem, they print the value, otherwise they have some. So here we have one, and here we call the function fun, and value, assume that two values, first we check the correct value, then after we will assign the incorrect value. So this is my file, copy here, and the new one, because we called that file in a new, this, we copy this file in that position. So this is your function, you define a function, and in that try an exception. So try, they try to convert whatever the value is as an integer and assign this value to the variable I. If I variable successfully, then that is not a problem, they print the value, otherwise they have some exception. So if I try to run this program here, then we can see that what value we can find out. So they call this function here, so we are not required to print, we can simply write a fun, not required to print, we call the new one module, and new one module we call the fun function, this function, assign the value 2 here, 2 is the integer, they convert into the integer, print the value successfully. So once you run it, you can see that that is the 2. If I write the 2.3, then that is easily successfully convert into the integer, and once again the print the 2. Now if someone type the some string hello, because they don't know about what type of the input I can give in that, because you are not commented anything else, so they show some invalid input errors. So now they understand that the input is not perfectly, input is not correct, they need to give a correct input. So this is the advantage of this try and exception block. So this is the hidden, you are not able to see this functionality or the function input types and other things, but they suggest you that yes, you have the error. Why? What is the error? You are not given the perfectly inputs. So this is the way that how we can use the exception handling in Python programming, and it helps to correct the program automatically. This is the another example that that we can take. So here we use the two exception. One is the naming convention, name is not correct because we want to print a, but a is not defined, and we also do some incorrect operations in operation with the list and the tuples. So now we take the another example that we try this one, concatenate this one, and try to print the value. So exception as e, this is the as keyword, you can use the as keyword. So here the you are not required to rewrite again and again, so you can, yes, what is the get more information or whatever the syntax is there, you can directly use with the help of as keyword, otherwise you need to write each and every time again and again. And if you want to write the two exceptions like this one and that one, you can write both exception and write as e. When you call the e, they automatically calls the both the exceptions. So to optimize the code, initially your code is like this one, if you use the as keyword, so you can merge multiple exceptions together in a one exception. So thank you very much, we stop it here.